What's good, guys? Our podcast guest today is Ray Crockett. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, also one of the best cornerbacks in the league during his time. And what we're going to do today is dive into his story, dive into his journey, dive into the experiences that he had on his pathway to success, because it's very interesting. He got to play with people like Barry Sanders, and I'm looking forward to hearing this story. So make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button if you want to see more of these kind of interviews and podcast guests with celebrities, athletes, influencers, entrepreneurs, and everything above. Looking forward to it, and let's get it going. We are live with Ray Crockett in the house. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, brother. Ray Crockett. But I'm excited to hear about your story, the adversity of you getting to, where you have been in your journey of success. Right. Becoming a two-time Super Bowl champion and being able to achieve everything that you've achieved. Like it's definitely inspiring, and a lot of people have looked up to that. It's not easy to get there. I can assure that.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to hearing about that, and I think the viewers are too. So let's just get into it. So the first thing, what's a little different is, like, I want to kind of start off, back in the day, when you were starting out in your childhood. Like, when did you start even playing football? When did you get into the game?
That's what's crazy.
And just make sure to talk on that mic.
And for the people out there, it's Ray Crockett. But I
mumbled a little bit.
Yeah, you mumbled a little bit. But you know what? People call me Ray Crock. Most people call me Croc 39, Croc, whatever. So we good. But I just wanted them to know. So if they wanted to Google me, it's Ray Crockett.
Gotcha.
But back in the day, man, it's so crazy that you asked that question first, because I wasn't one of those guys that was a shorty running around saying, I want to be a professional football player. I didn't even see any professional football players, talk to any professional football players.
Did you watch it? Did you watch football?
I wasn't a big football fan.
That's crazy.
I played soccer. I played basketball, and I ran track.
Right.
Those were my sports, but soccer was my major sport. I played soccer like 14 years, organized soccer, and that was my sport. I thought that was me because I was a smallish guy, as you can see. So my freshman year, I went out for football without my mom knowing and got cut. It was so funny. I went out after playing, on the playground. They call it throw-up tackle and things of that nature. And I thought I was pretty good. I was faster than all the other players my age, for sure. I was just small. I was like 5'2", probably.
Get that short speed.
Yeah, I was 5'2", probably 120. Yeah.
Rotations quickly.
So I went out for football, and they cut me because they had a couple other short guys that they knew it wasn't in my district, so I got cut. So it was heartbreaking.
Right.
I remember that bus ride home, because I caught the bus from Oak Cliff, which is right here in Dallas, all the way over to Skyline, which was like a 40-minute bus ride.
Damn, just
going back and forth.
Just in your head. Then.
Yeah.
Just in your head.
So for 40 minutes, I'm riding home, just pissed, like I can't believe I got cut, trying to think, am I too small?
Right.
Should I give it up? Should I not even try to play football ever again? Should I just play soccer and run track? So I just said, you know what? I'm really big spiritually. My grandmother, my grandfather were pastors. So I just started praying about it. Started riding my bike, started doing push-ups, started hanging on the, what's the thing?
The monkey bar?
Yes. I started hanging on the monkey bar thinking I was going to get taller.
Stretching it out.
Yeah, stretching it out. So yeah, I didn't start playing until my sophomore year.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
That's not what I was...
Look, that big story was to say I did not play football until my sophomore year.
That's not what I was expecting, dude. Not at all. Dude, what's crazy is, like, those kind of moments in your life, like, a lot of people have that kind of stuff happen to them. It can either break you or make you, and you really have to be able to decide whether you're going to let that just completely destroy you, or if you're going to let that build you up and become the character you're supposed to become.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I tell people all the time, like I said, I reiterate the fact that I'm spiritually, I'm grounded, and I know that there is a God, and I know that God is my Father, and I'm like, whatever's supposed to be for you is for you.
Straight up, He's got a plan.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to. No enemy, no devil, no demon, none of that can stop it. Right. It's going to happen.
I 1000% agree with you.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it happened for me. It was like I went from that experience to my sophomore year moving. This is how God works.
Right.
I was at Skyline my freshman year.
Yeah.
That's where I got cut from.
Got you.
The next year, my dad gets a better job. We moved to Duncanville, which at the time, Duncanville was more white than black.
Right.
And Duncanville didn't have a lot of fast players.
Right.
So when I went out for football and the coach saw me,
Yeah.
he was like, shh, I got myself a gym, you know?
Yeah.
So I went from not making the freshman football team in Skyline, where there was a lot of blacks, a lot of speed,
Right.
a lot of guys that looked like me,
Yeah.
to God saying, you know what? This is where you're going to get it done at.
Right.
So he moved me to Duncanville. I make all district. I'm on varsity. I played 3 games on JV my sophomore year.
They moved
Was
you
for
up.
650 yards in 3 games. And they moved me up, which is crazy. I rushed for 650 yards.
Yeah.
They moved me up to play cornerback.
Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
that is, yeah.
I'm like, I had about 3 interceptions at that time as a sophomore on JV. They moved me up. I'm thinking I'm getting moved up to play running back.
right. Yeah.
You know?
That's what you expect,
I'm
right?
killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They moved me up because of my speed, quickness, and my toughness. The coach at that time, he's like, look, man, we got 2 all-district, all-state receivers in our district.
Got you. Okay.
And we don't have nobody who can cover them.
Yeah.
So I swear to God. So he moved me up, and hence the cornerback was born, bump and run was born. My destination and my destiny started
Right there.
right there.
That's amazing, dude. Hey, they had it coming for you. That's amazing, though. That put you on the right track. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously.
and that's what I mean by no one can stop what God has for you.
Straight up.
Because he'll put you where you need to be, and he'll place you in the position you need to be in. I'm thinking I'm the best running back in the district.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was at the time.
Yeah.
But I was also the best cornerback in the district, too.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
You didn't even know. God's got a plan. You just have to trust him.
There you go.
All the time. That's amazing, dude. So let me ask you this. How was, like, the childhood growing up to, as you were, like, getting into the field of football, becoming a sport that you started to actually like and enjoy? What was the childhood like as you were, starting to accept that?
I mean, childhood was crazy, man. Like I said, being here in Texas, if you're from Texas, I don't know, you're from Texas?
I'm from California.
From Cali,
Yeah.
so you don't understand Texas football.
No.
You understand California football. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
Right.
It's Florida, Texas, California.
Right.
No order for me. I let other people debate that. But those are the Texas meccas.
Gotcha.
That's football mecca.
Yeah.
California, Florida, and Texas. So for me, playing soccer, playing basketball, running track, the honeys wasn't feeling it. The honeys wasn't feeling it. It wasn't the same. Yeah. But the minute I put that jersey and that helmet on, man, let me tell you, the minute I became Ray Crockett, the all-district cornerback,
that's amazing.
life changed.
It's amazing.
Drastically.
It's amazing.
I'm talking from females wanting to get with me. It didn't matter I was only 5'5" at the time. Luckily I grew to be 5'10". I grew 5 more inches throughout my high school career. But at the time, literally, my sophomore year, I was legitimately 5'5" and a half out there covering and making plays and getting women.
Right.
The women love me, man.
So
and they was
complete.
calling me handsome.
So complete change.
Complete change. So then it came to, the coaches really talking about scholarships.
Right.
There were kids, like I told you, there were kids that started playing football as shorties. I'm talking about 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade. They're playing tackle football.
Right.
Nah.
You're like,
nah.
this is my
I'm
first-
looking at kids like next to me in the locker room, and I'm looking at their knees, and they got these long scars from midway to
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, I tore my ACL. I'm like, what? So here I am, injury, flesh free.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, jeez, man, what the hell is going on? But that's when it got big, man. It got big because Texas football is, like I said, it's the mecca, and everybody's talking about scholarships. Everybody's talking about getting paid. Right. From boosters and all this stuff that I had no clue.
Right.
I had to fresh. I'm like one of them fish out of water.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had
baby
to learn
born
it all.
into it. Baby
yeah,
born
I had
into
to
it.
learn it all in a quick manner.
Right.
Within 2 years, I went from a no-name football player as a sophomore, getting moved up to varsity, making all district, to being an all-state college prospect.
That's amazing, dude. That actually takes me to that next question I had, because last time you were here, you were bringing up a story about you and your mom and your sister. Yeah, I kind of wanted you to kind of go in depth on that experience.
Yeah.
Because that was in that time, right?
Yeah, that was that time, man. It was right around the time my mom. I got 7 siblings.
Right.
There's 7 of us. Okay. So I have 5 brothers and sisters. I'm the baby boy.
Yeah.
So I got 3 older brothers, and at the time I had 1 younger sister. We since had another younger sister. My mom and dad was still getting it on. You know what I'm saying? They were still doing the thing.
Right.
which is good for me.
Yes, exactly.
That means I might have, I got about 10 more years now.
Yeah.
No, seriously though. But yeah, so it was my mom, my sister, my younger sister, and myself, basically in the house. Everybody else is out of the house. Everybody else is going to college, and basically, my mom didn't have any money. It was it. You got 5 brothers and sisters that she's already sent to college on a teacher salary.
Right.
And my dad was a truck driver, so there was just no money.
She's like, Ray, you're cut.
Yeah, there's no money. So she's like, hey, you guys, have to figure out a way to go to college. And for me, I had just started playing football, and the coach, told my mom, hey, because she hated it. I'm telling you, she hated the sport. She hated the physicality. Excuse me. She hated that I was smallish, and she didn't want me to get hurt. I was her baby boy. I was her baby. I'm a mama's boy.
Every mom.
Yeah. So she was like, didn't want me to play. But when the coach said, I guarantee you with his speed and quickness, he'll get a scholarship. She was like, well, what time is practice, coach?
Yo, send Ray in there.
What time does practice start, and what position is he playing?
Ray's going to be early 15 minutes every single practice. That's awesome.
So that was my way of getting the opportunity to get a scholarship. So, like I said, we're very spiritual. So my mom huddled my sister, myself up. We prayed about it, and that next morning, Mom woke me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Get your ass to practice. Get your ass to practice.
Right, you're not missing.
Look, God got a scholarship waiting on you. Get your ass to practice.
That's amazing, dude.
So that's how I did it. And then for my sister, it was just happenstance. Me and my sister were like this. When I tell you we're 3 years apart, and she did everything I did because I was the last one.
Right.
I was the last Mohican.
Yeah,
so she was basically a boy.
Right.
She was basically raised as a boy.
Right.
She played basketball on the courts with me. She played soccer. She ran. So I'm working out one day. At after practice, my sophomore year, and we're running sprints.
Yeah.
And my sister is beating all the boys. Like literally.
Yeah.
I'm talking the sophomore football team, the junior varsity football
leaving
team.
Leaving them in the dust.
And my sister comes out after practice. She's like, I want to run with y'all. And I was like, no, it's football. And my coach was like, let her run. Dude, she was beating all the boys. So my coach goes, and I look at her, he said, track. He said, that's her calling.
Yeah.
Track.
Yeah.
That day, she started running track.
That's awesome.
She was a number 2. She was a second fastest girl in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
By her senior year, got a scholarship to U of H with Carl Lewis and Leroy Burrell. Ended up running in the '92 Olympics.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like you have like adversity right in front of you. Like, hey, you're not getting money like the rest of your siblings. You got to figure it out, and that's exactly what you guys
pivot. We had to one, reinvent ourselves.
Right.
The both of us. And I tell people there's 3 things you do in life. And it's in my book. And I know we'll discuss that. My book is called Bump and Run. But it's in my book. 1, you reinvent yourself several times as you go through life. 2, you pivot several times as you go through life. 3, you bump and run several times as you go through life. Bump and run, what that is a technique that is used on the golf course, the little quick bump and run shot.
Yeah.
Or it's on the football field where you get up close and personal to your opponent. And it's your only chance. It's the only chance for a cornerback to dictate what the hell is going to happen.
Straight up.
So I basically took that term from a football position and from a football technique to a life technique. Wow. I get, no matter if it's my financial problems, my mental health problems, drug problems, whatever problems I've been through, whatever adversity I've been through, I get up close and personal. And I try to either, one, direct it in its place, control it,
right,
or get it the fuck out of there.
Straight up. And
so those are the three techniques, I think, in life that you have to master as a human being if you want to be very successful. Reinventing yourself, recreating, rebuilding, whatever you want to say, pivoting, and bumping and running.
I like that. I can say I've experienced that myself, so I can 100% go with that and say that that's completely true. Yeah, I like that bump and run. When you have something come up to you, you got to either bump it and get it the hell out of there. You got to run, man.
Yeah, you got to bump it or run away.
Yeah, get back on the tracks. You can't let something destroy you.
And you can't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
You can't be ashamed.
Exactly.
See, there's so many people that I've learned that I speak to, like a lot of my mentees, I speak to about this technique.
Right.
And I tell them, I say, so what's the problem? Why won't you just leave that situation? And you hear all kind of excuses. Oh, I don't want to be called a punk, or I don't want to be called a bitch, or they tell me that I'm afraid, or I'm not cool. All these different reasons that'll stop you from running. Man, fuck that. Run.
Get the
hell out of there.
Yo, Forrest, get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of there. And look back later.
Right, 100%.
And look back later.
100%. It's funny you say that because there are a lot of people that just have excuses like, oh, I wasn't destined for that life. Like, this is a life I had to be in. Like, dude, you don't have to choose that life, man.
No.
You can get out of that, bro. But you have to believe you deserve it, and the universe will serve it. That's the only way out of it.
You know what? And that's the thing. And here's the biggest thing I tell people. There's two ways you play in football as a cornerback. You either play off coverage, which is distance between, like you and I right now, or you play bump and run, which is up close and personal in your personal space, and either you or I
will decide the
final fact. One of us will win, one of us will lose.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
But if I play off coverage, there's a lot of factors in between this coverage.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people are playing with their life.
Right.
They're playing off coverage with their life.
Right.
You're just letting life attack you. You're letting life do whatever the fuck it wants to you. And you're playing off.
A feather in the wind.
Yes. And you're just blowing, whichever way life blows you, that's the way you're going.
I can agree.
Or you can go up close and personal and say, you know what? You're not kicking my ass today.
Straight up.
You're going to either beat me or I'm going to beat you. But it's going to be a fight.
Straight up. It's you versus you. And it's usually you versus you, too. That's
there
what it is. That's what
there
it is.
The biggest person you have to bump and run is that guy in the mirror.
Exactly.
Daily.
Up. I love that, man. That's great. Yeah, definitely check out the book. What platforms is the book on?
You can get it on Amazon. It's called Bump and Run. You know what? I rushed out. I was going to bring you one to show the world, show the people. But you can go to Amazon and just look up Ray Crockett, Bump and Run.
Ray Crockett.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bump and Run.
There we go.
And you'll find the book.
Hell yeah, man.
And I'm telling you, it's not, see, most people think that, athletes, we always telling about ourselves. And this is a story about life in general. Yes, there's some football stuff in there. Of course, I played 14 years, 2 Super Bowls, all pro. There's got to be some football stuff in there. But it's also about mental health. Right. When I left the league, I got diagnosed total and permanent disabled from taking and giving out all those hits.
Right.
Migraines, headaches, depression, anxiety, all of that. The NFL labeled me total and permanent disabled. And there's 2 things I could have done. Back to the, I could have accepted it, played off coverage and said, hey, headaches, just beat my ass. Anxiety, just kick my butt.
Shut me down, I
got up and I bump and run. I said, you know what? I'm going to get a therapist. I'm going to get a psychiatrist. I'm going to get whatever I need to strengthen what I have left.
Perfect,
and
dude.
that is what bumping and running is all about.
That's what I love. I love that. I love that. That's great, dude. So that's a great story, and I want to ask you: is that the main adversity that you've been through? Is that what would you say is the main adversity? Like you say, that could have been the most downfall of your life, but you turned it to be the greatest thing that's happened in your life. Because I know a lot of people go through this adversity and they shut down. They go down drugs, alcohol, and you can't find them. They're gone. They're gone. They're not coming back. But what was the biggest adversity that you went through?
That was it, because that adversity triggered all the other things that you just said.
Right.
Because for me, as you can see, I'm an up-tempo guy. I'm an outgoing guy. I'm very talkative. I have the gift of gab. When I retired, I went to the California.
Yeah.
And immediately got a job with Fox Radio and TV.
Awesome.
So I'm on, I'm broadcasting now, and everything is great. Then I started getting these crazy ass headaches. Then I started feeling anxiety. I didn't even know what the hell anxiety was. I heard about it growing up,
right.
but I used to just always say, "Man, quit being a bitch."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what are you depressed about?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You live in a big house, so all of those things that I talked about was affecting me now. And I didn't know how to handle it. And so I'm just going to be real with the world. I self-medicated. I started getting really bad headaches, migraines. I started feeling like a shell of myself. Like literally, I would go to the studio. I was hosting the Best Down Sports Show. Shout out to the Best Down Sports Show, giving me my first shot. I was hosting the Best Down Sports Show. And, with that comes a lot of different events, the ESPYs, all this stuff.
Right.
Me, John, Sally, and Rodney P., all of us, we're going to all these different events.
Right.
And I was literally feeling alone amongst 200-300 people. I'm in a corner. Like, I'm literally in the corner. And John would be like, "Man, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, come on, let's go get it." Right. There's women in here, there's drinks in here. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I will not name any names, but one of my friends that's from Dallas, that's a prominent actor in California, turned me on to cocaine. And one day he saw me and he's like, "Man, you're not yourself." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're just not yourself." He's like, "You're normally talkative, you're fun, smiling." He's like, "Man, you look like you're scared in here." He said, "I got something for you." And I was like, "What's that?" He was like, "Come on, come back here."
Shit.
And dude, I would never forget that first line. I did coke and I came out. I was Ray Crockett, the old Ray Crockett.
Right.
"Hey, what's going on, baby? What's your name?" I'm that Ray Crockett.
Right.
And from that point, I self-medicated. I self-medicated to the point to where it got out of control. The drinking, the drugs, the ecstasy, all those feel-good drugs. Right. That's what I was about. I wasn't about none of that, the shooting up and all that stuff. None of that. Just the feel-good drugs.
Right. Just to distract you.
The euphoria. The euphoria drugs, as they call them. Is that the correct term?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the euphoria drugs. The drugs that bring you out of your shell. But when I got home,
just hit.
I was horrible. Yeah. Rock bottom.
10 times harder.
Rock bottom. It was way worse than I was when I left. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that, when you say the biggest adversity, was turning that around and trying to figure out how not to self-medicate and how to bring back the best parts of Ray Crockett without all of the ecstasy and drugs and all of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yeah.
Hey, it can be very eye-opening for a lot of people because, there's a lot of people in this world that they think that's the only way to really handle their problems, their issues that they're going through.
Right.
And it's not. And it's hard to realize that when you're in it, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's real help out there.
Yeah.
There's real help out there. But of course, God and the devil always work against each other.
Right.
There's always a right way. It's kind of like that, the angel and the devil on your show.
Yeah.
There's always a right way. There's always a wrong way. Yeah. The wrong way is normally always faster.
Yeah. Right,
because with God always has a process. God always grapes don't become wine without a process.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be crushed. You have to be crushed, and you have to fight through that crushing period, that crushing season to become fine wine.
Right.
Most of us don't want that.
Yeah, they don't.
We don't want to fight through that. We'd rather just take a line.
Easy.
Let's just
The
do a
easy
bump.
route. Yeah, the easy route.
And I'm there again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that is what it's all about. What it's all about is like I said, bumping and running, getting up close and personal, and finding out what is it about this, whether that's headaches, depression, finances, relationship, whatever it is. Relationships are really, really big.
Yeah. 100%.
Depression is really, really big, especially now because of social media.
Right. I mean,
I tell people social media is the devil.
it's bad.
Social media is the devil. You know what social media? Social media has created the worst 2 C's in the history of the world. You know what that is?
What are the 2 C's?
Compete and compare. That's all you do on social media.
100%.
The minute you open social media, you are comparing yourself to somebody's best life, and you're competing against someone's falsities.
Exactly.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, it's
that
not
they're
even
putting
true
out
half
there.
the time.
Half of the shit is not even
No,
true.
it's
Hey, I'm sitting on a private plane. I've never taken off in my life,
Yeah.
but I'm on a private plane, and that's my Rolls Royce convertible out there that I've never driven.
Yeah.
And you're sitting up here going,
Why don't I have that?
why don't I have this?
Yeah.
Man, he's making $100,000 a minute, and I'm making, I can't even make $100,000 in 4 years.
Right.
So it's compete and compare. It's the devil, man. It's the devil.
I agree. Yeah, man. I mean, social media. It's gotten definitely worse too, is with the attention spans and the dopamine factor of you just scrolling nonstop all day and being completely distracted from your actual internal thoughts. That's
and your
issue.
actual destination,
Exactly.
and your actual destiny.
Right.
You're looking at for God gives everybody a plan. You have a plan. I have a plan. He has a plan. Everybody has a plan.
Right.
You got to tap into what your plan is.
I agree.
And you got so many people. Buy my book. You want to learn how to make money like me? Buy my class. Buy my book. What the hell? What if that's not for me?
Right.
What if your class is not for me?
And most of these guys are selling courses, and
Exactly.
and they're making money off of it.
They're making
more
money
than
off of shit that you're not even been meant to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And
dude.
you're paying them $200 for their class, and God said, that's not what I have for you.
No, it's not. It's not my plan for you. I agree with you. That's a good perspective to be able to showcase out to that for people to kind of take a step back and look at the perception. But I want to take it back to the story of your journey. So you got the scholarship, obviously.
Right.
You got to college. When did you really realize that you had a shot at the NFL?
Man, it's crazy. I got a scholarship to Baylor, and I guess I chose Baylor over USC, SMU, Iowa, and what was the other one? Oklahoma. So I ended up going to Baylor because it's a Baptist university. So I really wanted to make my parents proud, my grandmother, my grandfather proud.
Right.
As far as the we keep going back to the spirituality.
Right.
As far as that part of it, and so I ended up going to Baylor. My freshman year, I get there. They have Thomas Everett, who was the first Jim Thorpe Award winner for the #1 DB in college football. That was the first year they created the Jim Thorpe. You know who Jim Thorpe is, right?
Yeah.
The guy played football back. He was just
Right.
an amazing athlete. Look up Jim Thorpe. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's probably the best athlete ever in the history of sports, to be honest. But anyway, college created the Jim Thorpe Award. And we have the first winner at Baylor. He's 2 years older than me.
Okay.
So I'm a freshman. He's a junior at the time. So he recruits me. He and Ron Francis recruit me. I come in my freshman year. And for whatever reason, the coach puts me against him in every freaking drill. And he is kicking my ass. I thought I was good. You know what I mean? I thought I was pretty good.
Humbled real quick.
Yeah. You talking about humbling. I got there, and I swear to God, this is what I did. I got my ass kicked so much at practice that I went home and I wrote on a piece of paper and put it on my mirror so I could see it every day. Lose less. Not win more, lose less. I'm like,
You're still gonna lose
because I'm getting my ass kicked. I've already conceded. I'm going to get my ass kicked, but at least get it kicked one time less today. If I got my ass kicked 8 times yesterday, 7 today. And you know what? It worked.
That's awesome, dude.
I swear to God,
That's
it worked.
awesome. I love that.
It worked. So I all of a sudden, man, went from, I'm 167 pounds, and I get to college. I'm 5'9", 167 pounds. Thomas Everett, he's a junior.
Yeah.
He's eating and lifting and all. He's been there.
He's been through it.
He's Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
He's 195.
He's full-fledged,
yoked up, right?
Yeah.
And so the crazy thing was, the day I finally beat him, like, we'd have to do these hidden drills, tackling drills. You're on his back. Bam, bam, bam. You running full. And whoever hits and knocks the other one past the line, he has to go run the stairs. I was in great shape. I ran track as well my freshman year.
Right.
Why not? I was in shape to do it. I ran the stairs so many times. So I ran track my freshman year at Baylor as well. But finally, toward the end of toward the end of the season, bam! I got a little stronger, and I beat him, and he had to run the stairs.
Oh, that's good.
And after that, he started lifting with me. He started working out with me. He really took me under his wing. He and Ron Francis, and they both, of course, the next year they both got drafted, went to the league. Ron Francis was the Dallas Cowboys second-round draft pick right here, but we had literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 DBs get drafted.
That's awesome.
My sophomore year. I'm a sophomore. They're seniors.
Right.
We have 5 DBs get drafted my sophomore year.
That's awesome.
And I'm going, I can do that.
Right.
I've been playing with these for 2 years. I've been getting my ass kicked by these guys.
Right.
Now I'm winning.
Building you up.
Now I'm winning, and they're gone.
It's your time to shine. Let's get it going, baby.
Hey, my time to kick some ass.
Straight up.
And I did. I kicked a lot of ass.
That's awesome.
Look, I did not take it easy on anybody.
They don't deserve that.
So because of that cycle, within my 4 years, we had 16 DBs get drafted.
That's fucking wild.
Within my 4 years at Baylor University, there were 16 DBs that got drafted.
Y'all are on the right training, that's for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So we created that community of competition, that community of toughness, that community of win.
Pushing limits for sure.
Yeah, so that's, you asked me when, my sophomore year was when I said, I'm going pro too. Shit, I mean, why not?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just been getting my ass kicked by the Jim Thorpe Award winner, by a second-round draft pick, by a third-round draft pick, by a fifth-round draft pick. I'm like,
I was keeping up with them. I got this.
I got this. I started to lose less.
Straight up.
So that's when it happened. Then to put the nail in the hammer, as they say, or the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Ray Rhodes, who's from Mahia, Texas, I think Mahia. But anyway, he played in the league. He was a defensive back coach for the time for Philadelphia.
Okay.
And my sophomore year, the seniors, who were Thomas Everett and all those guys, they were out there doing their combine drills.
Right.
The pro day. The pro day. You hear the pro day.
Yeah.
They're having their pro day. And I'm out there watching. And he goes by and he winks at me. And I'm like, fuck, what's going on? So he comes back by. He said, you better than all these guys. Swear to God. He mumbled this to me. He winks at me. And he goes, up, Ray? So he knows my name. He winks at me. I'm a sophomore. I'm starting. Now I was starting. So I'm a sophomore starting with those guys. And then he comes back by as he's doing the drill. You're better than all these guys.
Oh, that's a good feeling. That's
when I knew.
That's
when I knew.
That's a good moment right there.
Yeah, that was a moment when I'm like, and he was almost right. I think I got drafted the 86th pick. Ron Francis was the only DB at that time that got drafted before me.
Right.
So I guess he was kind of right. I was kind of better than all those guys. And I played longer than all those guys.
Show something, right?
So I think he was right.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. That's a good moment right there. What was the so once you got the NFL, obviously you won the 2 Super Bowls. What was the best moment in the NFL that you can, you would want to relive, that you reflect on, and you go back, when you're having your moments, you're like, damn, dude, I need to go back to that moment right there.
You know what? The best moment, I was drafted by Detroit Lions, the 86th player in the draft. I was, a little pissed off, I'll be honest. They had me penciled in or in the mock draft, all the bullshit that they come up with right now, as a second-round draft pick. In the draft, nobody knows.
Right.
It just went a different way. I ended up being the 5th corner taken, which is not bad. In today's draft, I would have been a first-round draft pick.
Right.
Because they draft about 5 corners in the first round.
Right.
But back then, for whatever reason, it just didn't go that way. So I ended up being the first pick in the 4th round. Literally the first pick. So I'm a top 100 pick. I go to Detroit Lions with Barry Sanders.
Right.
Rodney Peete, Mike Utley, John Ford. And Detroit sucked. Literally sucked when we got there. But when we got there, Wayne Fonts, who coolest coach I've ever played for. One of those coaches that if you prove yourself, he'll tell you in front of the whole team, I make differences. So there's none of that bullshit. Everybody's treated the same. Bullshit. Not here.
Right.
Prove to me that you can play. Prove to me that you can handle yourself. Prove to me that you are disciplined and you're gonna get treated better than these other fools.
You deserve to be here.
You deserve. He treated you on a scale and he told you that.
Straight up. That's good. I like that. Transparency is what
transparency, man. That taught me something. That taught me a lesson that I live my life off of right now. I tell everybody, I don't treat you by what you think you deserve. I treat you by what you earn.
Straight up.
Respect. So for him, he had this thing when we got off the plane. Me, Barry Sanders, Rodney Peete, John Ford, Mike Utley, that draft class, 89 draft class for Detroit. Every last one of us started. Let's say the top 7 draft picks. I think they drafted 12. Well, actually, 8 of us, because my cousin was drafted in the 12th round. Jason Phillips played wide receiver. He even started. So let's just say 8 out of the 12 draft picks ended up being starters at some point in time for the Lions.
Yeah.
And Wayne had this thing called Restore the Roar. These guys are going to restore the roar.
Straight up.
So when you say, of course, I won my back-to-back Super Bowls with Denver. And, of course, those are the moments that, those are those moments you'll never forget. The confetti falling on your face, things like that. But I'll be honest, the moment that I want to relive was the 91 playoffs. This is Detroit's first time going to the playoffs in years.
Long time.
I'm talking 40, 50 years probably.
Bringing back that roar.
Yeah, and we did. We ended up restoring the roar. We went to the playoffs, played the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Kicked the shit out of the Cowboys the first round of the playoffs. I think we beat them 38-6 or something like that. We end up going to the NFC Championship game. Washington beats us. Then Washington ends up winning the Super Bowl. So you say a moment that I would like to replay. I would love to have a shot at Washington on a dry field in a dome.
Yes,
we played them outside. It poured down raining the week, like 2 weeks before, and they wet the fields because Barry Sanders, they didn't want to let Barry run. So literally when we came out to play the game, it looked like it had just fucking rained that minute.
Jeez.
So they soaked the field so that Barry couldn't get traction.
Oh, my God.
So I would have loved to play Washington inside of a dome.
Relive that moment. So
So that we could have played our best,
Right.
and they could have played their best.
I feel that.
Because we had we didn't lose a game in a dome.
Right.
We were 8-0 at home in our dome.
Yeah.
We did not lose a game in a dome.
So you got.
That's how good we were inside the dome.
Right.
Now outside, that's where our 4 losses came from.
You can't. Yeah, you can't.
You know what I mean? Can't control the weather.
Yeah.
But inside, we were built
Right.
to play inside of a dome. We were fast. We were quick. We had Barry Sanders, who nobody could tackle in the dome.
Yeah.
So when you say a moment I like to replay,
That's the one.
I wish I could have them in a dome and say, let the best team win.
All right, you guys heard it. Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's rip it back.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Get it back in.
But as far as a moment that I would never, ever forget, of course, is finally getting over that hump And it was my 9th year. That was 91 when we went to the NFC Championship game. One game out of the Super Bowl. I didn't get to do it again until 6 years later.
Right.
My 9th year, we finally get over the hump. And we end up playing the Green Bay Packers, who were supposed to be, they were picked to win the game. We ended up winning. And it was a great time, man. It was that moment. That is the moment that you never find in life again.
Straight up.
It's like having your first child. Right. You never find your second child is cool. Your third child is cool. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You love them.
Yeah.
But come on.
Yeah. I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That first one.
Yeah, you can't change that.
You can't change
that feeling.
You can't change.
That brings me to my next question about because you had Barry Sanders on the team. What was it like? Because obviously you guys are playing practice against each other, you're scrimmaging and shit. How was that?
You can't hit him. You don't hit Barry at practice. Are you fucking crazy? You fucking crazy? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
First of all, if you could hit him,
right.
Could you imagine you hurting Barry at practice?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Come on, look. That's one of those think moments.
Yeah. Right.
Hell no, we didn't tackle Barry. Nobody tackled Barry at practice. Barry had the same jersey the quarterback had on Barry.
That makes sense.
Nobody was tackling Barry.
That makes sense.
But quite frankly, we probably couldn't tackle him anyway.
He couldn't be touched.
Look, you got to think, we practice in a dome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it saved us heartache, headache, and embarrassment.
Win-win.
And it kept him healthy.
Win-win.
So it was a win-win situation.
I got you. What creates the championship team then?
Man, what creates a championship team? Camaraderie. Camaraderie, man. You got that locker room. That locker room has to be real. It has to be family. Like, you hear it. It's an old cliche. We treat each other. We're like family. That's not a cliche, man. That's real. It is so hard to win in professional sports because of all of the noise, because of all the outside elements, because of all the shit that gets in between your off coverage.
Right. Yeah.
That
exactly.
it's too difficult. So you have to squeeze that coverage down and become a family.
Right.
You have to get to know one another better. You have to talk to each other more. You have to go out. You have to hang out. You have to know what makes them click. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because there's white, black, Indian, African, Mexican. That locker room is full. Gay, straight. Let me say that again, world. Gay, straight. Yes, we knew they were gay players in the fucking NFL. Don't act like we just found out. There's been gay players in the NFL from day one.
Right.
We just don't care.
Yeah. Because once you're in that locker room,
because when you're in that locker room, you're my brother.
Exactly.
I don't give a damn what your sexual preference is. I don't care what your drug preference is, what your drink preference is. We have to collectively help each other.
Straight up.
To get to a common goal.
100%.
And at the end of the day, if you're doing your job, we will help you to perform, period.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Nobody is worried about any of that other bullshit, that goes on outside the world.
Right.
I knew the guy that played wide receiver that I went out with every Thursday night and had a drink. I knew he was gay. He never asked me for no ass. So what's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem?
As long as you don't cross the line with us, we good. You do your thing, I do my thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's fair, 100%.
Yeah, so that's how life should be. What's the problem?
I 100% agree.
You know what I mean? What's the problem? The world is so worried about what you are and who you are and what you do that they forget about who you are and what you do, because that's what matters. So that's how you win a championship. You throw away all the noise, you throw away all the bullshit, you throw away all the differences, and you say performance matters.
That's
peak
good.
Performance matters.
And that goes into everything in life.
And that's life.
Yeah, straight up.
How can I get you to peak performance? Period.
Everyone's got a common goal.
Exactly.
Lockdown focus.
That's it.
Don't get distracted. There's a lot of noise.
Don't get distracted with the noise of the outside, because the outside world, that's their job.
That's what they want.
That's their only job.
Yeah.
Do you know that is the job of a hater?
Yeah.
The job of a hater is for you to get distracted and focus on them instead of the task at hand.
Straight up.
That's the job of a hater.
That's some sauce right there. That's some good shit right there.
And me, I swear to God, I try to get me a new hater every day. I tried to.
Because it means you're doing something right.
Because you're doing something right. I got a hater for him. You want to join it? You can join it.
You just put the application. You're always approved.
You ain't have to put the application in. Shit, you approved. Come on with it.
Come on in.
Come on with it.
I love that. Well, no, I appreciate that value. You just preach right there, because that is important in every aspect of life. This is really the last kind of topic I wanted to talk to you about, because I know once you got out of the NFL, you've been doing some stuff with community. You wrote that book. You've been going into some businesses. What kind of businesses have you been doing outside after you got out?
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. Some would say a serial entrepreneur. I own restaurant. I own lounges. I trade. I have my real estate license. I have my insurance license. I to be honest, because I am a believer in the man upstairs and in my Father, I didn't know what I was supposed to do afterwards. So I tried it. And that's what God wants. God gives us all gifts. And the first thing, if you go in the Bible, the first thing God tells you to do is what? Multiply. Be prosperous. Right. God wants everybody to multiply and be prosperous. So whatever gift he gives, he don't want you to hide that gift. He wants you to multiply it. And he will make you prosperous. So for me, I didn't know what my gift was, other than football. Right. I played football for a decade and a half.
Yeah.
So I had to go back and research it. So what I started to do, my dad, I had brothers, and my brother-in-law were in the Marines and the armed forces. So they used to have this thing called prepare for war in time of peace, which is what all of our armed services do. Right. Whether it's the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, whatever, they all practice war when we're chilling. Yeah, we're out here chilling in peacetime, and they're fucking fighting right now.
Yeah, right, 100%.
Because they're practicing, they're preparing for war in time of peace. Yeah. So that's kind of what I did. Toward the end of my career, my 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th year, I got my real estate license. I got my insurance license. I started to go to conferences, business conferences, entrepreneur conferences, things of that nature.
Right.
To see what I wanted to do. And I tell people this, for you young guys out there, stop listening to people try to tell you that you need to invest your money, that you need to. No, you don't. You need to keep your money. You need to make sure that when you retire, you have your money. Then, in time of peace, study, figure out what you want to do with your money, then invest. Most people will tell you to invest your money now while you're playing because they want to steal from you. That's the common trap that thieves do, scammers do. They want you to invest when you can't keep up with it. You're busy playing football. You're busy practicing. You're busy playing games. And they tell you, hey, give me this. I'll create a company for you and I'll run it.
Right.
No.
Right.
Fuck that. No.
Right.
You run your company. So
yeah, learn it yourself.
The biggest thing is leave the league with your money. That's what you have to do. I don't care. Don't worry about, look, one thing I tell you, and this will be my spiritual thing of the day. God will never lose what you don't have. He'll never use what you lost to make you prosperous and to bless you going forward. He always uses what you have left.
That's deep.
So when you leave the league, I don't care how much money you spent. If you got $100,000 left, that is what God is going to use to bless you going forward.
Straight up.
Period. He won't use the girl that you lost. He won't use the money you lost, the friend you lost. Whatever you have left is what God uses. When God went up to the lady, he said, what do you have in your house? Bring me all the empty containers out of your house. He asked Moses, what is in your hand? Right. The rod, boom, splits the ocean. It's what you have left.
Straight up.
That's what he uses to bless you.
100%. I love that. Yeah, I mean, my mom went into a mutual fund one time and she was not making money. So I feel that. For sure. I told her to get out of that. But no, yeah, I feel like if you actually educate, if you want to go in that sphere, whether it's investing or you're starting your business, do it yourself.
Learn about it. Learn about it.
Yeah.
Your money's not going anywhere. Yeah. Okay, you may not be making money, but you're not losing money. Because let me tell you, and I look, I'm not sitting there preaching from not losing. I lost. I put $2.5 million in a hedge fund. because everybody's, man, you got to have your money in the hedge fund. Warren Buffett, all this stuff. Yeah. You got to put your money in the hedge fund, you know, and all of a sudden, Madoff, all this stuff. I put $2.5 million in a hedge fund, supposedly to earn 20 to 25, 30%, and lost $2.5 million. So I'm speaking from experience, not from bullshit, from experience. Keep your money. If you're unsure, if it sounds too good to keep your money, and just wait. Wait until you're ready.
Right. 9 times out of 10, it is too good to be untrue. The 1 time out of 10, you got lucky, and then you're probably going to mess it up.
No, well, God has a blessing. God has that one big blessing for everybody.
Right.
But that one big blessing comes from you listening, learning, and working. Because faith without works is dead.
Straight up. And I mean, if you're going to go down the path, you know, one good decision, that can change your life. That's right.
For sure.
100%.
For sure.
Well, honestly, Ray, that's all the questions that I really wanted to get through you. You got a crazy life, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
it's
I will be honest, loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I'm 57, and she'll like it too. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What you gonna do now? You gonna go start?
You know what, man? No, I'm just strengthening what's left. To be honest, I got several restaurants that are doing very well here in Dallas.
Musume.
We open up, Musume Akai. If you're ever in Dallas, check out my restaurant, Musume Akai Chop Shop Bar and Grill. I got about 5 Chop Shop Bar and Grills, but check them out. I'm looking at I live in West Palm as well. I'm looking at opening up a Musume in Jupiter, Florida. Definitely. So and like I said, and I'm trading. And I'm just, I'm just trying to live, man. I'm 57 and it's a blessing. You know, they say that 60 to 70% of players go broke 8 years after they retire. Right. I've been retired now since 2003. So I'm working on 21 years and I'm still here.
Holding it down. You're holding it down. LIVIN, brother.
I'm still here, baby.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, man.
Thank you, my guy. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Hey, you guys be good. Remember, God will never use what you lose. He uses what you have left to bless you. Be a blessing.